Welcome. This is 5RoundMMA. My name is Alex Mares alongside Albert Tito. You may notice we're down a man here.
Down.
Guillermo Machida is at home celebrating another addition to his family. So congratulations to Guillermo and his family. But Albert, I want to ask you a question, man. Could you have received a better gift for your birthday than Machida scoring a head kick knockout in his middleweight debut over Mark Munoz?
No, it's almost like he said he did it specifically for me because I wouldn't have asked anything else other than that.
You guys are that in tune or what?
Yeah.
Your text message, did he text you happy birthday?
Yeah, he's all, hey, Dragon says happy birthday. He did it in between the fight. He grabbed the corner, texted, and then he landed the head kick.
Hey, Albert, watch this.
Yeah.
So Machida, his dropping down to middleweight was big news.
Obviously,
he delivered.
He delivered in that weight class.
Did he? Are you officially saying now he's putting the rest of the division on notice?
Yep. Because I'm gonna point out this way: the last person to do that to Mark Munoz
to knock him out?
is the current champion, Chris Weidman. And I thought that Mark Munoz didn't really put up much of a fight. But I think it's more because
the fight only did last 3 minutes. So
I think Machida was very confident. He knew, I kind of rough him up in the gym, and all I need to do is land this vicious combo I got right here, and I know it's gonna connect, because that's what it seemed like. It seemed like a walk in the park, for some reason, but I think it happened just the way he planned it.
Well, yeah. Well, let me. If you read, whenever Machida loses, whenever he loses, basically, the people always hark back to when he won the title, and the famous quote now by Joe Rogan's "Welcome to the Machida era."
Yeah.
Whenever he loses, they always the Machida era that Joe Rogan talked about at light heavyweight. It didn't last very long. People say he lost the first Shogun fight, but now is this really? Can he do to the middleweight division when he maybe kind of started at light heavyweight and couldn't really continue?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing was in 205 was that he couldn't get a string of consistent wins, but it had more to do with people not not initiating the fight since he's a counterpuncher. But I think he's realized that
at 185 he's gonna be the aggressor now.
The
aggressive
and
Machida
I
at 185.
think we saw a preview. I think he knows now he's technically the bigger fighter in all these fights.
Yeah,
and now he knows he has to strike first.
So that kid, him being the aggressor was always in him. He just decided not to do it at 205.
I think.
Because you see this pattern with them.
I think you have to be more cautious at that weight class because you're dealing with some big guys. And,
It's like you see almost two different types of Machida. You see him like super confident when he fights guys like Ryan Bader, Dan Henderson. He's real loose. Even when he fought Munoz, real loose.
Right off the bat.
Yeah, but he almost knows that he's superior to them in the striking game. Where you see what's with Dan Henderson and John Jones, he's a lot more cautious,
he's
a lot more meticulous,
cautious and kind of has to work for him more.
Yeah, I think a lot more free, loose, aggressive Machida will be fun to watch. Interesting to see how many knockouts he can actually get in this division.
When he is looser, I think that's when people will actually get their money's worth when it comes to Machida.
Yeah. So do you think him now title shot or what?
He
gets the winner of Weidman. He'll get Weidman after either way.
I think Anderson Silva is done, win or loss. I don't think he's gonna retain the title.
Yeah.
Even if he wins, he's probably just gonna let it go.
Yeah, I think Dana White said he wants Machida versus Belfort, but Belfort doesn't want to do that. I know. Well,
who does Vitor want to fight?
He wants the champion, right? So I think Vitor wants the winner of Weidman versus Silva. So you think either way? Do you think Machida versus Belfort's going to happen, or
I mean, it makes sense to do it because then you have a clear first contender, but. I don't know. Knowing Vitor Belfort, he's
gonna say no.
Yeah,
he's like,
Machida's gonna have to get that belt.
Maybe he'll do it, but fight him at 205, right?
Yeah.
So, Mark Munoz, man, I kind of feel bad for the guy. Even Machida felt bad for the guy kneeling down right next to him. I know they're training partners.
And he had such a wonderful story. I mean, he gained all that weight, and then he lost the weight.
Oh yeah.
And then we thought he was. Well, I specifically said this was going to happen. This was just a bad matchup in general. He shouldn't really taken this fight.
Well, he had no choice. I mean, Michael Bisping had to pull out because of injury. He was training for ground and pounding Michael Bisping, and all of a sudden throwing a curveball. Well, now I got to train to counter the stand-up of Machida. So I think Munoz was in a bad spot no matter what.
Yeah.
Interesting to see what Michael Bisping wants to say. And I haven't heard any quotes from him yet about the Machida fight. Maybe you think he's kind of smart. Now I'm not going to call it Machida.
Yeah.
He's like, give me Mark Munoz, actually. I'll fight.
If
look at Munoz, I would do that to you.
He would keep Machida's name out of his mouth.
And call out Mark Munoz instead.
See the fight that was originally intended.
Yeah, I guess the other big news coming out of the UFC other than Machida's potential reign at middleweight is new tough Brazil has been announced.
Yep.
And I guess I don't know how he does it, man. But Chael Sonnen remains.
This is the real
still
mind blowing part. He still has a fight coming up that has nothing to do with Toughen Up Brazil.
He still has,
and we still need to see the fight.
This
that
guy
fight happen.
Somehow stays relevant no matter what. Not fighting. He's paved the way for. You don't have to fight for a title to stay relevant in the UFC, I guess. Right now, I guess this. Well, I still haven't seen any of the videos of the
Vanderlei.
And Silva, because to
but
me,
see, that kind of irritates me because the thing I loved about Vanderlei, he never really talked. He kind of said, "You want to fight? Let's fight." And then he took this. I don't like the way he got it. You know, like he went and did his YouTube videos and then confronted Chael Sonnen with the video camera, and I just thought that was kind of weak, if you ask me, because he's a guy that he's down to fight whatever. That's what he was known for, and then now he's kind of playing into these antics, but. I guess it works because they both got what they wanted. Well, I don't know if Chael Sonnen got what he wanted.
Is he gonna live in Brazil and like? Is he on the Brazil most wanted list?
And,
is he that?
He did mention that he wants Anderson Silva to be his assistant coach. I doubt that would happen, but that'd be pretty awesome though.
Maybe he could get Mark Munoz to help him coach, right? But it'd be kind of interesting to see a bunch of Brazilian fighters try and train under Chael Sonnen, and that they actually respect his opinion.
Well, they might
not only that, but the language barrier.
Yeah,
or is it going to be like a?
That's what I was. I think it
like
makes more sense to do USA versus Brazil because, like you said, I don't think no one's going to want to even listen to Chael just because of what he's said about the Brazilian people.
And the fact that he's not really doesn't have a good record in Brazil, anyways.
So that'd be interesting. I see, but it's starting to look kind of like a gimmick because shouldn't we wait and see what happens against Chael Sonnen versus Rashad Evans?
Yeah,
really.
Well, either way,
isn't that supposed to be a crucial matchup here that we're supposed to see?
I don't know about crucial. That's a kind of a poor choice of words.
I'm just saying that's what they were intending. No.
So, but either way, doesn't Chael have two fights lined up, right?
Rashad Evans. Yeah, either way, he's already booked. He was already booked for the whole year as it was.
This guy,
he had a laundry list of opponents.
Like after he could retire, he could be like a fight manager, can't he?
Yeah,
or like a publicist or training how to keep yourself relevant.
Because he's doing something right.
Because there's a lot of guys in the past who faded out because they weren't getting consecutive wins in big time matches, but they still had a big personality and they kind of faltered off. But Chael Sonnen, man,
and not to. He's also a good coach. We saw the last Ultimate Fighter. I thought he really showed like he was the superior coach over John Jones.
Yeah.
He actually cared about his fighters. So it's not like he's going to go in there and just get ratings. The guy is a good coach, and he really does put in the work when it comes to the tough enough.
Yeah, well, I guess that's it for this first segment. Chael Sonnen in Brazil, live in Brazil. Hope he's learning his Portuguese. And then the Machida reign at middleweight. So stick around, guys. We're talking some Bellator MMA and all the debacle, the embarrassment. Who's to blame? Bellator, Tito. Should this all coming? We'll talk about that.
Should we blame Dana White?
Dana White. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you'll blame Dana no matter what, right?
Yeah.
All right, so stick around, guys.
Please visit FiveRoundMMA.com on our social media on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. FiveRoundMMA.com.
All right, the other big news was what's supposed to be a shining spot coming up this week for Bellator turned into, I think, I don't want to say a black eye, but kind of embarrassment. Tito Ortiz has a pull out of his bout.
It was almost a affliction.
Tito's neck took too much punishment. Tito Ortiz has a pull out of his bout, his main event bout against Rampage Jackson due to a neck injury, which has been lingering for years. I thought he had surgery to fix it. I thought he was all good to go, but apparently not. And Bellator decides to cancel the pay-per-view, and I guess we're all winners now because we get to see Eddie Alvarez versus Michael Chandler 2 free on Spike TV. But I want to ask you first, should Bellator have seen this coming?
Well, supposedly, if you talk to a lot of people, the writing was in the wall, supposedly.
Really?
That Tito Ortiz is known to be kind of flaky. But
even Chuck Liddell, and remember when Tito and Chuck coached Tough, Chuck was like, I don't want to do this because he's not going to fight anyways. And what happened? He pulls out the fight.
And I think other organizations should really learn from like previous ones, like I said earlier, Affliction.
Yeah.
You saw what happens when you put all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah.
And something like this can always happen, especially in when it comes to athletics. because you never know when someone might be 100%.
But especially
or whatever.
with a guy who has such a
History
horrible
of injuries.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a track record.
They should have had at least a backup just in case.
Yeah,
Because I mean, they should have had someone in the undercard being trained too that could possibly step up in case this would have happened.
Like King Mo versus
Well, man, you see that was somebody. I'm pretty sure they could have.
I mean, but light heavyweights is like
bags.
their weakest division. So
That's
I
true
mean,
too.
Who could have gotten there unless he got pulled out? Like I don't know who's out
I
there.
heard Kevin Randleman was available. So
Oh yeah.
I mean, they're looking for old
Yeah,
UFC
but
guys, right?
I don't know who are there like who's like there's not like any top former light heavyweights who are out there to get signed, right?
Not off the top of my head.
Like
I
former
can't think of
champions
any.
who were like what Frank Shamrock's retired.
Unless you want to like dig way deep into the pockets.
I'm
and,
pretty sure Tank Abbott can't fight anymore.
Rona was available.
Yeah, but I mean, who's like? Do you blame Tito for this? Do you? I mean,
No.
he's hurt. I mean, like, but you think he?
I don't think you can give Tito the full blame.
You think did he try going like, oh, maybe I could work it out, but like the week before he pulls out?
Yeah, that's what it seems kind of weird to me. But I really think this is more Bellator to blame, just because they did not. I mean, stuff like this happens. He has a history of injuries. They should have at least had some kind of backup plan or whatever. But I feel Tito shouldn't get all the blame, but he should get some of it.
I know. The other big news was that they actually canceled their pay-per-view. I mean, what's this say if you're Michael Chandler? Okay, Michael Chandler, Pat Curran, King Mo, Mal Newton. Okay, so you don't think we could carry a pay-per-view, but yet these two old guys can?
Not only that, but the bigger question is if you do want to go into a pay-per-view.
Who else are you gonna have besides these guys, right?
If these are not the guys that are going to star in your pay-per-view, then that doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
I really think they dropped the ball big time here because one, they show that they're not very confident in their champions.
Yeah.
And two, it shows they're not confident as a company.
Well, even before, when the Bellator first announced Rampage versus Tito on pay-per-view, people were laughing and calling it a joke.
Yeah.
But
then
what
when
happened?
they added Michael Chandler,
People gave it respect.
then they said,
Okay, you know what? I'll
this
check
is
this
a
out.
legitimate pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Why? It makes no sense to me why they would cancel it as a pay-per-view. I mean, they should trust in their champions.
Yeah.
I mean, regardless if it would have bombed or not, they should have trusted them because look, these are the guys that are going to carry the company. These are the guys that are going to headline.
Sink or swim with, right?
And you have them all in the lineup. I mean, look at this lineup. It still is a pay-per-view quality. I mean, you got Michael Chandler, Eddie Alvarez, Pat Curran, King Mo still on it, and then you got your Joe Riggs, who was the champion of your first ever reality show,
Fight Master.
What more do you want?
Yeah,
right.
Well, they wanted Tito versus Rampage.
You don't need Tito versus Rampage. You got
obviously
the whole
they need Tito versus
shebang.
Rampage. I mean, they even like
it makes no sense to me.
I wonder how much of the loss you're gonna take. I mean, well, I think pretty sure it won't affect the sales tickets. I mean, they did get the Long Beach Arena. They're actually an arena instead of a casino. As they usually are.
And then I think the bigger question too is I think Eddie Alvarez was set to get some pay-per-view money because I think the whole dispute about his contract was he was saying no, it's not fair because Bellator doesn't have pay-per-views.
Yeah. So
how can they say it's equivalent to the UFC contract that I was offered?
Yeah.
So I think he has that contract, and I think he just lost out of pay-per-view buys.
So do you think like they kind of pulled out in fear of losing so much money during the pay-per-views?
Yeah.
Like, do you think could this save the sinking ship almost? Like, hope this isn't the first sign of like you looking back at whenever a company fails, you see like the signs of it. Okay, that's when it started. Do you think this might be the start of Bellator going down?
Sadly, this is a very, very.
This is kind of embarrassing. I think it's more. You have to recover image-wise.
There's egg on on Bellator's face now.
I haven't been keeping up with it, but will this hurt Tito's TNA obligation? I thought there was a big cage match coming up with like Bubba Ray or something.
I saw a couple of matches, and he doesn't do much wrestling, so it doesn't really. I don't think it really matters. Out.
I mean, we gotta go over the card at least, right? You got
yeah.
I mean, the big one.
You still got a sick card right here.
You got what? We'll start from the top. Michael Chandler versus. Or you want to start from the bottom?
We'll start from the bottom, I think. But real quick, I mean, Joe Riggs is going to fight.
Wasn't he hurt or he won? Did he win the first season fight master?
Well, technically, this is for the championship.
Oh, okay.
But I'm pretty sure Joe Riggs is gonna win. If he doesn't, it's a huge upset.
Joe Riggs is gonna upset.
Yeah, he was currently injured, and now he's gonna fight. Making his was it third try at this?
I have no idea. He was hurt on the show, and then hurt when he's supposed to reschedule it.
That's all very much. And then a friend of MMA, we got King Mo versus Manny Newton. A very big rematch because if you remember, King Mo was supposed to be the savior of Bellator.
Yeah.
But he got knocked out.
You know, isn't there also some controversy around this about?
Yeah,
too?
the
Their
champion,
light heavyweight
yeah.
champion Khan. What's his name? I forgot his name. Anyways.
Yeah, supposedly
said that,
he says that no, I wasn't hurt. Or
Yeah.
they just don't want me to fight.
I don't know why there's an interim belt for. I'm perfectly healthy. I can fight any one of those two guys.
So
but
they're pretty much trying to say like, oh, you're not really a good draw for us.
So, but this one's supposed to be for the interim title.
Yeah. But I really see this fight playing out differently than the first fight. I think King Mo is gonna revenge his loss, and I think that he's gonna become the face of the company like they wanted it to be.
Yeah. And then what? You got Pat Curran versus Daniel Strauss.
Yep.
And I'm a big fan of Pat Curran.
I'm a huge fan of Pat Curran. Again, Daniel Strauss ain't no joke, but Pat Curran is a beast.
Yeah.
And I think the best thing he could have done was go to featherweight. I don't know what he was doing in lightweight.
Yeah, no,
for so long.
I think he ran to Eddie Alvarez, didn't he? Michael Chandler.
I think the number one lightweight in the world that could be any lightweight, I think, is Michael Chandler versus Eddie Alvarez.
Well, I find it's almost kind of unfair to Eddie Alvarez. He's been out for how long, battling a Bellator in litigation.
Yeah.
And now, okay, hey, you want to come back
and
fight
the
Michael Chandler.
best in the world?
So I think it's kind of a. It should be a good fight because I think they both know kind of each other. Because like when they first fought, you could tell like they kind of knew. Even though it just got this kind of weird chemistry. I want to say chemistry, but like wasn't like that. Kind of just weird. Kind of like they almost were in tune with each other. They almost like a step ahead of each other. But it was a great fight. So
it was an epic battle that they had.
Attila was a light heavyweight champion. But yeah. I don't know. I think Michael Chandler will pull this out. I think he's on a roll. I think Eddie Alvarez has been out too long. Got other stuff on his mind. I mean, this contract again, another controversy to Bellator, and this his Eddie Alvarez's contract. Where if you win, you get to stay. If you lose, you're out of your contract, right? So, if you're Eddie Alvarez, do you kind of want to lose this bout so you're free?
Well,
Bellator?
Supposedly Dana White said he's not going to sign Eddie Alvarez if he loses. So. I think Eddie Alvarez has more to lose if he actually loses.
Wow. So basically, Bellator is kind of ruining this guy's career, right?
Yeah. Well, at least that's how the media is playing it out. That Bellator is pretty much screwing over Eddie Alvarez and now screwing over
Ben Askren.
This
is crazy. Bellator. The more you dig into Bellator, the more you think about it, the more you want to pull for this have other option other than UFC. Because sometimes some UFC can leave a bitter taste in your mouth with the way they do stuff. And you think, this is the right way to do it. The tournament system, it's right. The guy will always come on top. But then you kind of see now
you're trying
that they're trying to expand. Now it's like, okay, are you trying to stay faithful to that tournament system? The best fighter always wins, or are you trying to screw out, or what's the main goal here for Bellator? And I think the more that comes out, the more it's kind of say, you know what, you guys really no different. Promoters are always good promoters. You could pretend to be one for the fans, but hey, you know what? Promoter's a promoter.
Yeah, at the end of the day. I mean, look at TNA. They went and got Hulk Hogan at the end of the day, right?
They haven't recovered since.
Yeah, see, actually, they should take a good example of TNA. They went and got Hulk Hogan, and look what happened.
Yep.
They go and get Tito Ortiz, and look what happened.
Yep.
Just rely on the stars you have, the stars you built, the stars you made.
That got you this far. Might as well ride their backs so they can't carry you any further. But I know, they signed Rampage how many months ago? He hasn't even fought yet. What is he even doing? Like, he's just hanging out. Like,
he's been in TNA.
I know. We'll come.
We covered a couple Bellator things. He was right there.
So basically, they're just paying him to come hang out.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
And they're basically paying Tito Ortiz to put his punishment, athletics all over
Bellator.
All over. Wow.
This
is ridiculous and kind of sad actually for Bellator, which is a shame because it's good people working there. We interact with them.
Well, at the end of the day, the fans really do get the best reward because they're going to get to see it for free. And trust me, this is a pay-per-view quality card. Yeah. So, I mean, at least we get to see it for free, and it's going to be awesome. I know that.
This Saturday, check it out. What was supposed to be Bellator Rampage versus Ortiz is now Bellator Alvarez versus Chandler 2. So that should be great. We'll have all that for next week's show, and then hopefully Garen will be back.
Yeah.
Hope he's not too tired, changing diapers, all that good stuff. But until then, make sure to follow us on Twitter at FiveRoundMMA, like us on Facebook, and also follow us on Instagram. What else am I missing? Subscribe to us on iTunes, YouTube. Check out FiveRoundMMA.com. You can also see our articles on OvertimeDanSoden.com. Overtime, where we talk sports. I want to give a big thank you to all of our sponsors, Honey Badger Performance Energy Drinks. Go grab a scoop of Honey Badger, get the most out of your workout. Don't forget them holiday meals are coming up, so might as well stay in shape, get in shape, stay in shape. Go to drinkhoneybadger.com. I want to thank the Madhouse clothing line, clothes for the fighter and fight fanatic. Go shop themadhouse.com and follow them on Twitter at the Madhouse MMA. I want a big thank you to MMA Victor, Fantasy MMA. I know fantasy football is almost over, so might as well get your start in MMA, Fantasy MMA, different fights. You can pick for every fight card.
Event.
Yeah, so do that. Go to MMAVictor.com and follow them on Twitter at MMA Victor. And a big thank you to Top Rated MMA, makers of 100% American-made MMA apparel. Go shop TopRatedMMA.com and follow them on Twitter at Top Rated MMA. Albert, final words.
Yeah, I'd just like to thank our executive producer, Guillermo Machida, who is not here.
But just cause, though.
I'd like to thank him. Our sound engineer, Steven Rosal with Rosal Records. Got recording needs, hit him up. And, of course, our engineer over there, Ollie the Trolley. Thanks, everybody, for listening. There's no king of the crop, sorry.